what's up? It's a beautiful Sunday evening. It's almost 6 o'clock and I only woke up some time ago. Look at me. And Sid was around me. Sid, where are you? Come here, baby. Yeah. The camera's on a tripod, a big tripod, so Sid couldn't be seen when he was standing. Alright?
I'll come in a minute.
Alright, go. Alright, buddies. So, what is the topic of today's video? Well, I could not ride for last 1 week and I was thinking what video to make. And I realized that I have been asked about this many times, and that is people want to know that can they really upgrade from a commuter motorcycle, which is a 100 or 125cc motorcycle, to a superbike. It is a very critical and life-saving question that needs to be answered. So let me start talking about it. And this is a discussion. You don't have to go by what I say. You can take your own decision. Anyhow, so in general in India, we call anything above 600cc to be a superbike. But that is not really the case. Superbike, the term is given only to a race replica motorcycle like the R1 or the GSX-R 1000, S1000RR, Fireblade or any of them, and they have to be a 1000cc. 750 and above can also be called a superbike, but generally it's a 1000cc only. 600cc's, 675cc's, these are known as super sports. Not the Ninja 650. Ninja 650 is a sports tourer, but the Daytona 675, the Yamaha R6, the CBR 600RR, these are known as super sports, but they are very fast motorcycles too. Alright, so Sid is back. So where did you go, Sid? Where did you go? You went to drink milk or what did you do?
I went to washroom.
Oh, you went to washroom. Alright,
Wow.
So getting back to the topic. So, should you upgrade from a commuter motorcycle to a superbike? Now, in most of the countries, apart from India, you are not even going to get a license to directly upgrade from a 100cc to even a 600, forget about 1000. There are age limitations and you have to upgrade. Hello. And you have to upgrade with a process. But in India, it's a free country, right? We can do what we want. So even an 18-year-old can walk into a showroom with his dad's money and can buy a 25 lakh worth superbike. I'm not saying anything wrong with buying motorcycle with the dad's money. I also got a car, 7-8 lakh rupee car when I was 18 years old. So that's absolutely all right. But is it safe? Can you ride? Do you have the ability to ride such a powerful motorcycle, which is about 200 plus bhp, directly from a 100cc or being your first motorcycle? So Sid, you like superbikes?
Yes.
Which is your favorite superbike?
R1.
Wow! GSX-R 1000 also, that, crazy monster motorbike. Okay, I'll talk about the topic, okay? Now, there are few things to it, friends. What you have to understand is that it is not just about being able to buy a motorcycle, but it is about the mental maturity that a person would have when he or she is about 18 or 20 or 21 years old. If you are a professional racer, now you could say, but Vikas, professional racers at the age of 16 would be riding 600cc motorcycles, right, on the racetrack. But these people, national championships, international riders, they have been trained to do so. So it all boils down to one thing: are you trained to ride? Age is not the factor. It is about the discipline. So all these international racers, right from the age of about 12 or 13, sometimes even at the age of 6 or 7, they start their training. And by the time they are 15 or 16 years old, they have the mental discipline, they have the ability, they have the technical expertise to ride these motorcycles, and also they are riding on a racetrack with all the highest safety gear possible. But an average 18-year-old or a 20-year-old would not have this kind of a training. So the biggest problem what you would face if you're riding a 200 bhp or a 160 bhp Superbike without almost any experience, or if you're upgrading just from a 100 or a 125cc, is the throttle management. Yes, you would say that there are a lot of electronics today. Put on the traction control, put on this control, put on that control, but even after that, these motorcycles absolutely fly. They are rockets. They are faster than fighter jets on the ground. So, and when you're so young, you generally don't care much about anything else. You just want to feel like the king of the world or the queen of the world. So you would open throttle and the motorcycle just go crazy. It can do 0 to 100 in 3 seconds. It can do 160 kilometers an hour in the first gear. Second gear it can do 190. Third gear it can do 210 plus. Fourth gear 240. So these kind of speeds will make you feel larger than life, and unfortunately we do end up becoming irresponsible to a level. So here is the factor of mental ability. Alright, so it does take, now you can buy a 1000cc, and if you have the mental maturity, ride it very gradually. Don't keep opening full throttle, alright, in the first, second, third gears. Take it very easy and learn the motorcycle. Spend some time. And the next thing, this is a serious factor too. Now, when you're so young, that is 18, 21 or so, you would have a lot of friends, right? Many friends. So even if you are someone who has the ability to ride a 1000cc motorcycle, but very often what will happen is that your friends would love your motorcycle. Of course they will love your motorcycle, and they'll say, please let me ride your motorcycle. I'll just take a short ride. I'll just do a 2-kilometer ride and get back. Now, at that age, it's very difficult to say no to a friend. You would feel that my friend would feel bad, or probably you would want your friend to experience this new motorcycle that you bought. So now is a factor of social responsibility, where you could have the training, you could have the mental maturity to ride that kind of power, but your friends generally would not. So they would be riding this motorcycle also for the first time, and I'm sorry, but there have been so many cases where the friends have taken these motorcycles out for a ride, and they ended up killing themselves, and sometimes also killing someone else on the road. Very unfortunate. I don't want to use these harsh terms, but yes, this is the reality. And if you're not responsible, you can die on a Superbike within the next 30 seconds. Yes, that's how powerful they are. We all know it. Now is the factor of being able to maintain these motorcycles. In most of the other countries, even if a very young person somehow has the money to buy this kind of a motorcycle, or even if the father is ready to give them a motorcycle, most of the fathers in developed countries, India is also a very rapidly developing country, but most of the developed class 1 countries, the fathers will never buy a youngster that kind of a motorcycle. Almost never. But say a youngster bought that kind of a motorcycle in, say, America or Europe, the biggest issue they would face is insurance. Insurance is very expensive considering how young you are and how powerful motorcycle you're riding. Alright. And as I mentioned, you probably will not even get a license to ride that motorcycle, but hypothetically think that way. But in India, insurance is again, at least till now, is not calculated on the age factor plus the motorcycle that you're riding or how powerful it is, that factor. So insurance is kind of okay, you can still get it, but it would still be very expensive in India. The insurance for Superbikes, insurance could go up to 50,000 rupees per year. So now the factor of, would you be able to maintain a Superbike even if your father has gifted you one? because your father could say that I'll gift you a motorcycle, which is a Superbike, but you will have to maintain it on your own, or you'll have to maintain it on a small budget. So now things like the tires, as you know, 8,000 kilometers, you would have to spend about 35,000 rupees on a set of tires. The spare parts are expensive. Fuel is, if you ride hard, you'll get about 12 kilometers a liter. Sometimes you can get 18 also if you ride very maturely, but most of the time take it as 12 kilometers a liter. And no, baby, you're not far. So plus insurance. So on an average in a year, maintaining a Superbike, if you ride for about 8 to 10,000 kilometers in a year, you'll be spending about 70,000-80,000 rupees. And if you have to change any spare parts, probably even 1 lakh rupees every year. So that is about maintenance, and very often a very young person would not be able to maintain a Superbike. So now, having said all this, we all love to ride Superbikes, right? So what do? We are very fortunate that in our country we have motorcycles like the RC390 and the Ninja 300. Go buy one of those, learn on them, learn about braking, learn about throttle management, learn about basic maintenance, and learn about understanding how it feels like living with a fast motorcycle. I'm not saying that you have to ride an RC390 for 2-3 years to be eligible to ride a Superbike. No, ride it for 1 year and trust me, you will learn so much. Push the RC390 to the limit, go take it to the racetrack, learn about it, and then you can probably request your father to buy you a Superbike. But even then, the best upgrade would be something like a Daytona 675 and not a 1000cc directly. But saying this again, if you have the mental maturity of not just going crazy with the throttle, you can buy a 1000cc also. If you are mentally responsible, socially responsible. That is it, buddies. It's a long video, and if you have any questions, let me know. Alright, you can follow me on Instagram also. And Sid is here. Sid also has Instagram handle, and I'll put that also in the description of this video. Alright, Sid, say bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. You can subscribe if you think what I spoke made any sense.